Hey guys, what's up? Yeah, welcome to a new live edition of Topics on My Mind for today, the 14th of December 2020. I know it's been a bit since I did the last Topics on My Mind live, actually, I did do a Topics on My Mind, if you will, but it was through the use of my GoPro and everything, and my Canon HD camera. I had to kind of split it. Well, actually, it was through my Canon you know, RF 500 camera that I have that I ended up doing this. I ended up doing a a topics on my mind, if you will. But yeah, the reason I haven't done it in a while is because, of course, 2 weeks ago, or actually 3 weeks ago now, was it 3 weeks ago, something like that? Yeah, I think it might have been about 3 weeks ago. My mom was off. She was off about 2 weeks and everything due to the fact that her site had been shut down. Her site, where she works for preschool for her company, for her overall organization, preschool company or preschool organization, Cape. It was shut down due to the fact that the family advocate that would go there on occasions had the virus. Was infected by with the virus. So that kind of changed things up. That kind of altered plans, if you will, for me when it came to doing some videos and all that. I mean, I still was able to do videos. Don't get me wrong. I was surprised by that, but again, I had to work around that a little bit just to make it all happen and stuff. So that was the thing I had to go through at that time due to the fact that basically um, like I said, basically, as I take care of this, hold on. But I had to basically work. Like I said, I was kind of surprised I was able to do it, but I had to be, like I said, I had to, gain opportunities. Had to find opportunities to work around it, if you will. Had to find a way to work around it and stuff, and basically make it possible. Here we go. Had to try to make some videos possible is what I tried to do. So yeah, I had to work around that, and that's how I was able to do a topics on my mind. I think what was it, about a couple of weeks ago or something. I was able to basically use my camera for what I was doing because I think she was back at work, but I didn't want to chance it. Like um, it's like I didn't know. I didn't know exactly, if she was gonna. I'll get. What I'm trying to say is I didn't know when she went back on the Monday 2 weeks later. I didn't know whether or not she was going to come back because they might say, well, you know what? We don't have that much time left in the school year, so you just take the rest of the year off. I wasn't sure, but thankfully that didn't happen. But yeah, I wasn't able to do the topics on my mind the way I usually do them. So I had to switch up a little bit as I type in the tags here for a second. Hold on. I had to switch up a little bit just to get it going and all that. Let's see. But yeah, I had to, like I said, I had to work around that a little bit, if you will. But yeah, basically, I'm back with a live stream, and hopefully, you guys enjoy this. And we'll go from there and see what happens. So let me just retweet something here. So yeah, hopefully you guys are doing fine as well, doing okay during this whole situation that we're going through as I speak. So anyway, what topics are we going to talk about? Well, if you could probably read in the description, and I'm going to try to do this here. And I do apologize for any kind of like maybe uh, lagging, if you will. There have been at times where the internet has gone out, just like briefly, like it did it more so today than usual. And I think it's because there are other people that have similar, basically, they have the same internet provider, Xfinity, and they're either doing Wi-Fi or something, so it's cutting people out. They basically get like they have a stronger signal in a sense, either through additional, um, what is it, routers and all that, or amplifiers, and basically it's causing people to be knocked out temporarily while they get online. So I do apologize if any interruptions or lagging occurs there. So anyway, getting on to the topics, we got about 8 topics we're going to cover today, and some of them are very current and going on as we speak. So the first topic we're going to talk about is the vaccine. I know I hashtagged it under the name it's being utilized, but still don't want to take a chance. But the vaccine for the pandemic, for the virus, is out and about. We'll talk about that, and basically who's in line first, and how is it probably going to get to us soon. Number two, we're going to talk about Joe Biden. Is he officially in as our next president or not? Number three, we're going to talk about the recall efforts on Gavin Newsom gaining more support. Number four, we're going to talk about if is AT&T's / Warner Brothers HBOMAX / theaters announcement blowing up in front of their faces as we speak. Number five, we're going to talk about something that Review Tech USA, Rich over on that channel, talked about, and even others are talking about it now, and that is Walmart employees caught red-handed on camera selling PS5s to fellow employees before customers. We'll talk about that, and I'll definitely share my experience personally as being a former associate. Number six, Washington out and Oregon is in the Pac-12 championship game. That was just brought out today. We'll talk about that. Number seven, video uploading sites removing certain videos from their sites. That's something that's picking up steam as we speak, including a variety of sites. And number eight, I will also talk about, to close it out, my new upcoming video uploading schedule for my channel starting today. That affects the next 2 weeks. I put 2 week, but let me change that one. Here we go. Next 2 weeks. So anyway, sit back, relax, and let's get to going here, shall we? Let's get to going here as I link this up. And yeah, a lot of reports are coming out, and it definitely goes into our first topic, or one of our first topics. But we'll talk about that in a moment. Hold on. There we go. Just wanted to make sure it gets on there. Yeah, but the first topic we're going to talk about here is, if I get back to it, there we go. The first topic we're going to talk about here, the vaccine for the pandemic that we're currently in, virus, if you will, is now out and about. Yes, this past weekend, or this past week, if not weekend, the U.S. Joined other countries in approving and authorizing this vaccine to be distributed. The FDA basically finally distributed it, approved it, and made it authorized to be distributed. to the country, to everybody around here. Now, according to reports, it's going to go in waves, basically. And I know that sounds a little weird to say, but it's going to go in waves. And what that means by going in waves is basically, you got certain people or certain, you got certain groups of people that will be getting it first before all of us get it. For example, today will mark the first week or wave of people getting it, which is the nurses, the doctors, the frontline workers, stuff like that. And then as it goes and moseys along, kind of dominoes effects down the line, if you will, others will get it. Like retail workers will get it next, I think. In one of the waves, either the second or third, and then teachers along the same line, second or third wave. Basically, it's all going to depend on the priority of those that will get it. Hospital nurses, doctors, frontline workers, all that, as well as patients, no doubt, probably mostly, that will get it, that are in the ICUs, that are in the hospitals. Because of this vaccine, they will probably get it as well. At the same time, doctors and nurses and frontline workers get it as well. Get it, at the same, get it when they do, I should say. So that's some good news there. The question obviously everybody has is when is it going to be distributed to us? Some people are speculating that the latest will be the summer that we'll probably get it. The summertime that we'll probably get it. Well, others are saying it could be sooner. In fact, Dr. Fauci, there's an article, I haven't read it yet, but there's an article stating that, he believes, or he knows of a way we're going to be, or he's come out basically in the article, and according to the headline, and said that Americans may be getting it sooner, basically, right after everybody else gets it, that is, as quickly as that, gets distributed, that everybody else should get it as well. The only catch about it that I think makes people question, it's auticity, if you will. It's auticity and its effectiveness is the rule that you probably have to get it. You have to get this shot one more. You have to get the shot at least one more or two more times after this to fully allow it to be effective. And what that means basically is once you get it first, it should help your body, even if you didn't have the virus or you had it but you recovered. It's supposed to help your body become even more immune to it, and that maybe a second or third dosage will help make that permanent or something like that. So if this virus comes around again, we won't be as effective or as affected as before. Some people have even come out and said that this could be that as time goes on, that this vaccine could be as prominent as getting the flu shot. So like every year you get a flu shot, you'll probably also be advised to get this vaccine shot as well to prevent this virus from ever coming back. So yeah, basically the vaccine is out and about. We do have other vaccines. Obviously, we have another vaccine potentially, I should say, on the way. So we'll see what happens. But again, right now, the frontline workers that have been at the front of this since the beginning are going to be the first ones to get it. And then I think basically and then I think retail workers and all that will get it next. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a really interesting next few months, as this vaccine rolls out and all that to everybody. In fact, let me see. See. Let me see something. Hold on. Let me see something here. Okay, so I'm going to look this up. Okay, so here's what the the CDC says, and we're going to look at this. And I know some people don't really trust the CDC at times, but here we go. And this was back on the 13th, yesterday. So basically, like I said, healthcare workers and residents of long-term care facilities will be the first to get it. And then I think from what I read, and let's look at this one. See. Hold on, let me see here. Okay, this is from CNET. It said senior U.S. government officials could be vaccinated within days. Okay. Healthcare workers, nursing home staff, and residents. The next priority would be, according to CNET, essential workers, which I used to fall under. I don't know if I'll still fall under that. Maybe I'll get some kind of something in the mail down the line saying, hey, you need to go back to Walmart, if you will, and get vaccinated, or go to this place and get vaccinated at the behest of Walmart because you used to work there. We'll see. Essential workers, older adults, and people with medical conditions are next in line. So, after the health, the frontline workers, the nurses, the doctors, and all that, and the hospital staff, nursing staff, and the residents of these nursing homes and all that. After they get it, then according to this, it will be essential workers, older adults, and people with medical conditions are next in line. Essential workers, approximately 87 million U.S. workers provide the basic goods. Yep. So I would fall under that category. People with underlying medical conditions and older adults, 65 and older. So that would be me and my mom. Well, my mom would fall into that category, but I would fall into the essential one. It says the reality is you should expect to wait. It says, according to what Fauci said, but again, he changed his mind, saying basically that ordinary citizens should be able to get a vaccine by April, May, or June of next year. Now, you might say, well, does that mean we're still going to be sheltered in place? What's going to go on? I think by the time the vaccine is distributed, more so like to essential workers and everything, I think that's when they're going to start lifting restrictions. Like, okay, we see that it works. So, and it says the vaccine has been approved for emergency use for people age 16 and above. Children under 16 will not be eligible to receive the vaccination at this stage. Okay, so let's see. See, according to this, so yeah, they're still saying that even basically according to this, Basically, they still say that you would have to will need to continue to wear masks, avoid crowds, maintain social distancing, and practice regular hand washing until further notice, whenever that could be. And that's what people do worry about going into 2021 with, the certain leaderships and all that happening. Exactly what will be the next step, and hopefully that won't be the case. So yeah, the vaccine is coming, and I think honestly, here's the thing, now that this vaccine's here, I think it's going to, really lessen a lot of stress that people have about this. It's going to lessen it. It's, I mean, there'll still be restrictions and modifications and mandates maybe out there, even with vaccine being distributed. But again, like the CNET article just said, we don't really know exactly we don't know really exactly how effective the vaccine could be depending on our bodies. But I think since a lot of us have heard that if you're under a certain age range, the 65 and over range, as well as if you don't have underlying medical issues, that there's a good chance that you will be okay, that you have that 99.9% or 99.5% survival rate. So you'll be fine. Um, but still, I think it's the fact that, people, I think are just curious as to what, the next step is going to be. How fast we'll be getting back to normal. I mean, we hear reports about, um, our potential next president, which I'll get into in the second topic in a moment. Our potential next president saying that, hey, he's going to require us to wear masks for 100 days and stuff, and that, that should help it should help slow the spread. There's reports that people on his advisory, his administration, some of his medical advisors saying, hey, we should do a national wide lockdown for 4 to 6 weeks. And, a lot of people look at this and they're like, look, we understand you might have good intentions, but that's not the way to go. Let's see what this vaccine does first before you make any judgments or you make any decisions. And I think that's honestly what people are going to look at. Like, okay, this vaccine's here. Let's see how effective it is. And if it's effective, then, hey, you don't have to make that decision of, okay, you need to wear a mask for 100 days, or we need to lock down the nation for, 4 to 6 weeks. You don't have to do that. If the vaccine proves to be, efficient, effective, I should say. So, yeah, I think honestly, but again, I think honestly, we still will have some mandatory rules going out there. We still might have a few restrictions, but I think over time, a lot of that will be lifted. Like, it'll be not totally lifted, like it's completely gone, but I think it'll be slightly eased up on the more the vaccinations, are distributed. Which is why a lot of people are looking at the fact that, between April, May, and June, hey, we should be out of this. We should be almost out of this, and we should be fine. But we'll have to see. It's just one of those situations to where it may look like things are getting back to normal, but then all of a sudden somebody will come out and say, oh, wait a minute, there's new cases that popped up, everybody locked down forever, or locked down for the next 2 weeks. There's always going to be that case where something's going to happen where, okay, we have to reverse course again, but hopefully that won't be the case. And I think what we're going through right now, this second wave, as they call it, if you know what I mean, the second wave, I think this is going to be the last one we go through. The last wave we go through, and I don't think we're going to be having to worry about that anymore, for the rest of 2021. I think that's why everybody's, just getting ready, I should say, for this year to be over, because they don't want to deal with this any longer. But yeah, the vaccine is, it's out and about, and it's here. And hello to Bugs. Hello to Jotaro. I'm sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. The topics are in the description if you want to look up what they are. Um, Let me see. Uh, but yeah, basically, like I said, yeah, the vaccine is here, and again, it's being distributed as we speak. The ruling is basically the U.S. government, senior U.S. government officials are going to be getting it first. Other people in Washington, of Senate and Congress, I'm pretty sure, and other personnel is going to be getting it. And then, of course, around the same time, the frontline workers of the of the nurses and doctors and staff of hospitals and nursing homes, as well as the residents of those facilities as well, senior citizens, that is, will be getting the vaccine as well. And then following that, you got essential workers like what I used to be. Again, I don't know if I'll get some kind of information in the mail saying I have to go do this or that because I used to work for Walmart, as well as people around my mom's age. They'll have to go and get it as well. And then I think around the same time, you got teachers in that same wave of people that need to be vaccinated also being asked, or if not, ordered. Well, I wouldn't say ordered, but mandated and recommended to get the shot. So, yeah, the vaccine is here, and again, like I said, there's still going to be mandates and restrictions and all that, but I think they're going to be lightly lifted. I think there's going to be a slight ease in them, probably more so than we can expect, to where we won't have to worry much about certain things like, oh, can we go out and do this? Or is this going to be open? Is that going to be open? I think the restrictions and the mandates are going to be slightly lifted, and we should be okay in the end. But anyway, yeah, the vaccine is here, and thank the Lord it is. And let me know in the live chat or in the comments if you guys are planning to get the vaccination shot when it becomes available to you. All right, so on to our next topic. Our next topic is a very interesting one because today was the day where all the state electoral colleges would cast their votes to make it official, if you will. And that is Joe Biden officially in as our next president of the United States or not? And according to numerous reports, Fox News, Yahoo News, CNN, all these other places, whether you trust them or you don't trust them, or you'd rather trust something like Newsmax or One American Network or whatever. But according to a majority of them, Joe Biden is in. California, obviously, according to some reports, played a huge part in that with their state electoral votes. So, yeah, according to many outlets, Joe Biden is the next president, and he will be sworn in on the 20th of January. However, though, there are people on the Trump side of things that will dispute that. In fact, Fox News had somebody on their channel this morning from the Trump side of things, and they basically said, we have all these other states that are going to go in Trump's direction. They're going to vote for Trump from the electoral college perspective, as well as that with those votes from those state electoral colleges, go in Trump's favor. They should have something enough to go to the showcase to Congress and to maybe some other parts of the Supreme Court to try to get this election back, because they still feel that the election was stolen, it was rigged, and that basically justice needs to be served. Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of people. There are a lot of folks, probably more than any of us want to admit, that do side with Trump on this, and they say, "Look, he won straight out. He's the winner." Heck, even my mom believes that. Because anytime myself or my sisters try to say this happened or this is going on with Biden, in the fact that they're acknowledging he won, he did this, he did that, my mom's like, "No, Trump won. He won, and he's going to be sworn in for another term." And there are people that do agree with that. I have family and friends that do agree with that. But is that really the reasoning why Trump is doing this? Is that really the reasoning as to why he wants to, basically make all this happen so that, he gets that second term. And there's a part of me that believes that what he really wants is to make sure justice is served, like everything is legitimate. That even if, Joe, it is proven to be fact that Joe Biden straight out won, even with the revelation of all this riggedness and, fraudulentness and all that, all he wants, Trump, that is to make sure that it was done, that Joe Biden is given a fair, shake, basically. That's what I look at. And I know that sounds weird, but what I'm saying is that he wants to make sure that Joe Biden, if he's going to be president, which it sounds like he's going to be anyway, no matter what, that his inauguration is done without controversy. In other words, he wants to make sure that even if everything in the end, all the evidence shown out there to be true and all that, that in the end, at least if it does prove that Joe Biden won, even if you take away the controversy and all that, and just look at the fact and just look at the honesty about it, then I think that's all that really matters to Trump. Yes, he would like to have a second term as president because he feels he's the right one for the job. But I also think in a way he wants to make sure that if Biden gets in, it's not under controversial means, and that if he does get in, that he realizes, hey, this is almost how you won on a majority of it, and hopefully you can correct this. In other words, I think, in my belief, I think he wants to make sure Biden has this knowledge, Biden and Harris have this knowledge of, hey, this is how you almost won illegally, but on the other side of things, it does show you did win fairly. So I think that's what he's looking at. I know that sounded confusing and all that, but, I believe, I believe that basically, there are people in Trump's administration that do believe the fact that something was wrong, something was rigged, something was, glitched into, there was some fraud, there was this, there was that. They probably believe that, but they also probably believe that once that's all cleared and everything, that the results will remain the same, that there is some legitimacy that Joe Biden did win. And all they want is to clarify that. And if by chance it shows that Trump did win over Biden, then fine. That's what's the word? That's an extra bonus for them. That's just another, but that's a bonus part of gold, if you will, at the end of the rainbow. But I think in the long run, they, along with Trump, just wants to make sure that there is no controversy, and that even if in the end it proves that all the votes for Biden were legitimate, with a few exceptions, I think that's all that's going to matter. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think Trump will accept defeat, and I'm sure everybody else would agree with this. He will accept defeat after everything is said and done. I think if it does come out, my opinion, if it does come out that there was fraudulentness, there was some riggedness, there was some screwing with the results, and after that's all exposed and taken care of and proven to be true, that even in the end, if it still shows that Biden won legitimately outside of that, then I think that's all that's going to matter. I think that's all Trump wants. Again, if on top of that, if on top of that he ends up getting that second term, then that's just icing on the cake for him. But I think he and his administration, all they want is justice. They don't. To them, it's not going to matter if Biden does have a term of 4 years as president and Harris as vice president for 4 years, as long as they have the knowledge of, hey, this is how you almost got in there, but obviously you did have some legitimacy in the end. And also, guys, let's take a look at this. Let's remember, this is Donald Trump we're talking about. He does not go out without a fight. Even if the facts are thrown in his face that, hey, this is what's going on, this is the result, blah, 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 blah. He's not going down without a fight. Even in the business world, when it would show that, hey, you're losing stock on Wall Street or using this is what's going on, this is what's going on, he's never gone down without a fight. He's always fought back and he's always tried to fight back and win, even when it was impossible. So in the end, in my opinion, that's obvious. So in the end, obviously, that's I think what he really wants. I don't think. I mean, yes, he would like that second term, but I think all he really wants is to make sure this election is a fair and just election, and that any controversy or anything that's happened is basically taken care of. And even if it proves in the end that Biden won legitimately, at least Biden could go in with a clear conscience of, okay, I don't have this, riding I and Harris don't have this riding our back. So anyway, though, yeah, but getting back on topic, is Joe Biden officially in as our president? Right now, according to a lot of news sites, with a few exceptions, yeah, he is. He's in. And they have till January 6th to really make it official overall, with Pence, using the gavel, I guess, to, submit, control or the title of vice president over to Harris. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks. I mean, obviously the electoral colleges have spoken, but now the question is, will it be officialized? Will Congress play a role and make it official? Or will they, mostly being a Republican Congress, side with Trump and say, nope, 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 not so fast. You thought you had it, but you were wrong. So we'll have to see, but it's going to be an interesting, like I said, next few weeks going into January 20th, 2021. I mean, according to this one guy on Fox News, they have enough, hopefully, to convince Congress to look at this again. So we'll see what happens. I still believe what's going to occur, and I told my mom this, they may hold off on this. They may say, you know what, because there's too much controversy, let's wait till let's wait till November 2021 to redo it and do it the right way without mail-ins and all that and go from there. I think that might be that might be a decision that's made. Not saying it will be, but that might be a decision that's made. Or they might even say, hey, let's wait till 2022 and see what happens. So again, not saying that's going to happen, not saying that will happen, but again, there's enough going on here to where something like that could occur. I mean, look, the Olympics were held off till 2021, and it's like you're kind of screwing that up a little bit. But hey, who's to say they won't do something similar? Anyway, though, but yeah, is Joe Biden officially as our next president or not? Well, according to several news sources, he is. So we'll see what happens in the next few weeks, how Congress plays a role, and everything, and maybe the Supreme Courts, and see what happens. All right, so number three here, we're going to talk about, and that is the recall efforts on Gavin Newsom gaining more support. And what I'm talking about is the fact that Gavin Newsom obviously is under a lot of fire for the way he's been handling this whole pandemic deal here in the state of California. The decisions he's been making, here and there for who can remain open, what cannot remain open, what counties have to reverse course, what counties can move forward, all that jazz and everything. And also he's under scrutiny for being one of those politicians or political figures, governors, mayors, if you will, that has been caught on camera being a hypocrite, if you will, by basically going against what he's been telling people to do for the past several months. And that even though he tries to apologize for the fact that he screwed up, it's not helping his case. And a lot of people are getting fed up with him. There's a lot of owners of restaurants, hair salons, nail salons, you name it, that are defying the orders that he's put out, defying the orders of the counties, by saying, look, screw you. We're going to do what we want to make a living. It's our choice, not yours. And basically, because of this, the recall efforts are gaining ground in a big, big way, according to numerous reports. Even Fox News has talked about this, which is something that you don't normally hear about. But yeah, Fox News is talking about this. Of course, local stations like ABC 7, ABC 10, CBS 13, KPIX 5, CBS, all of them are talking about this as we speak. And here's what's funny. Several months ago, none of these news stations were talking about this. This was not a headline that they would put out in social media or talk on a newscast. But now it is. Why? Because it's not just ordinary citizens here in California like myself or my family. No, it's officials. It's judges. It's county officials. It's city officials. They are getting sick and tired of this guy going back and forth. So now, because of their involvement, along with other people's involvement, citizens like me, I should say, it looks like Newsom is basically on the verge of being outed. And, if I'm Gavin Newsom, I do what I can to make up for this. I mean, obviously he knows what's happening. So he needs to figure out, okay, how do I quell the storm? How do I calm the storm? And if I'm Gavin Newsom, I basically do the one thing I don't want to do. And by doing so, I know will make people happy. And that's come out and say, I have a big announcement. Merry Christmas. I'm going to give you a big Christmas gift. And everybody's going to wonder, well, what is he talking about, right? Although they'll probably know. Oh, but they'll still wonder. He says, my big Christmas gift to you is I'm opening California. No more restrictions. You're free. Or something like that. That is what Newsom should do. That is what Newsom should do. He should basically make some kind of decision like that, especially with Christmas around the corner. Make that kind of announcement. Say, I'm going to open California, or at least open it in a way to where people have a little bit more freedom. Places can reopen and all that. It's like, just let them do this. Let them have that freedom. And I guarantee you, if he makes that kind of an announcement, or even the announcement that I just parodied, where he opens all the state with no restrictions, that will get people off his case. And that will get the recall efforts to quell to a standstill. It will quell to a standstill because now he would have done the one thing that people want him to do. And there's a lot of people that would be looking at him, or looking at maybe a dummy version that they would create of him, and say, good boy, now you're learning, or something like that. But yeah, the efforts to recall him are they're growing. They're growing. There is no doubt about that. I mean, here's the thing. If I can find it here, I don't know if they still have it up here. Hold on. Let me Google it. But yeah, it's all over the place, guys. It is just all over the place. Yeah, here it is. Fox News. I'm not going to put the volume up or anything. But it states that this is from Fox News. And this was like, what was it? When was this posted? Trying to see. 2 hours ago. It says California residents are renewing a push to recall the state's Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom, and this year the effort has a noteworthy amount of momentum. Recall organizers revealed that they have more than half of the signatures required for the measure to be placed on the ballot, with a few months remaining to collect the rest. Okay, let me reread that. It states, and I quote, California residents are renewing a push to recall the state's Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom. And this year, the effort has a noteworthy amount of momentum. Okay, let me reread that. Let me read that. Hold on. I know I'm repeating myself there, but you know how these headlines are. They like to put the video up there too. But anyway, here's what it says. California residents are renewing a push to recall the state's Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom, and this year the effort has a noteworthy amount of momentum. Recall organizers revealed that they have more than half of the signatures required for the measure to be placed on the ballot. With a few months remaining to collect the rest. Overall, the effort needs about 1.5 million people to sign on by mid-March, which would trigger a mid-year election. Randy Economy, a senior advisor to the Recall Gavin Newsom 2020 official campaign, told Fox News that the group had between 828,000 and 840,000 signatures as of Monday. Economically said that the campaign hopes to reach the threshold required to have the measures placed on the ballot by mid to late January. Now, they say a spokesperson for Newsom's office did not return Fox News' request for comment. It goes on to state that Economically, that's his last name, said the grassroots effort is nonpartisan and includes supporters of Senator Bernie Sanders and fans of President Trump. It says it is not uncommon in California for residents to seek recalls, but they rarely get on the ballot, and even fewer succeed. Several other launched against Newsom have faded. However, people may be particularly displeased with Newsom this year, who has faced criticism over a number of recent events, including for violating his own strict virus restrictions when he attended an indoor dinner party last month. Attendees at the expensive restaurant gathering were seated closely and were not wearing masks. It goes on to say that the California governor eventually apologized for the incident, deeming it a bad mistake. Economically suggested supporters of the movement believe the governor mismanaged the virus situation, adding that many small business owners in the state, like restaurant, boutique shop owners, have completely lost their livelihoods, while big box stores like Target have been allowed to remain open. Newsom put corporate interest before the people. That's what Economics said. Gary Davis, who was recalled in 2003, was the first governor recalled in the United States since 1921. Davis was ultimately replaced by Republican Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former bodybuilder and actor. Overall, California has among the most stringent virus-related restrictions in the U.S., as major counties, including Los Angeles, break grim records for confirmed cases. If the recall qualifies, Newsom would be forced to fend off rivals in the midst of a pandemic that has cost the state millions of jobs, depleted government coffers, and upended life for nearly 40 million people. I should provide a link, so I'm going to do that right now. But yeah, basically, that's Fox News. And again, Fox News never talked about it this much. You know, local news like NBC Bay Area, NBC Bay Area, and KGO 7 and ABC 10, and all of them, have not talked about it this much. And the reason being is because it never got to this moment. It never got to this situation that I'm sure Newsom wanted to avoid, but now it has. And with him basically violating those own restrictions that he did last month and trying to apologize for it, which nobody accepted, obviously, now he faces the potential of being the second governor in California and the second since 1921 to be recalled. And there's a lot of people that are against him from a mayoral perspective, that are ready to step in and take his place. The mayor of San Diego, who's been against him, is ready to take his place. I'm sure there's mayors and state officials and local officials that are ready to step in and take his place, because basically they feel he's not doing a good job. And the one thing a lot of people cite about Newsom when it comes to his handling of the state is how he handled his run and control of San Francisco, basically saying that he basically nearly put San Francisco, in the toilet, if you will, because of the way he was running things. But, here's the thing. Newsom's not the only one that's in this predicament. There are other governors, Democratic governors across the country that are probably in a similar situation. The governor in Wisconsin, the governor in Michigan, just to name a few, and the governor in New York are all probably facing similar situations to where people want them out of office, either through recallment or impeachment, because they're not handling things the way they should. I mean, you can't tell me that even though they did a decent job or a great job at the Thanksgiving Day parade last month, you can't tell me that people were not disappointed at the fact that they couldn't be there in person. And that it was basically, in their opinion, a shell of the former self. Even though it pretty much was the same kind of parade we had seen before, it was completely different. So to me, it's more along the lines of, these governors, these Democratic governors, if they want to keep their job, they have to make the announcements they don't want to make. They have to come out and say, okay, here's what I've decided to do. I'm going to reopen the state, but I still want to keep these measures in place just as a precaution. That's what they need to do. I mean, with the vaccine on its way, we got the vaccine here in California, yet to be distributed to everybody here. But here's the thing, with the vaccine here, Newsom should just come out and say, look, I'll reopen the state. All companies and theme parks can be reopened. However, I still want to keep, some of these rulings, these mandates and all that, just as a precaution. That's all I want to do. Keep wearing the mask and all that, the social distancing, keep it as a precaution until we're fully vaccinated. That's what I think he needs to do. The same goes for the governor in Wisconsin, the governor in New York, the governor in Michigan. They need to do those kind of things so that way people get off their case and not want to see them ousted as the leader of the state. But yeah, the recall efforts are gaining a lot of ground. And all I can say for Newsom is he better come up with an idea, with some kind of decision that's going to make everybody happy. And I believe he knows what decision he has to make. And that's a fact. All right. So with that said, let's move on to our next topic. And I'll be right back because I got to go take care of some things right now. I'll be right back, though. Okay, guys, I'm back. I just had to shut some windows and everything and turn on some lights because it's getting dark around here. It's about 4:45 p.m. Pacific time. All right, but now on to our next topic. And our next topic is one that I've talked about already in some videos, but obviously it's really gaining a lot of media attention. And that is AT&T's / Warner Brothers HBOMAX / theaters announcement showing slowly. Oh, not slowly. Hold on. Let me reread that. Number 4 topic is AT&T's / Warner Brothers HBO / theaters announcement blowing up in front of their faces as we speak. And of course, if you've been paying attention to this, basically Warner Brothers and AT&T have been getting a lot of flack. The CEO of Warner Brothers, the CEO of AT&T, have been getting a lot of flack for this decision due to the fact that it basically, as I've talked about before, and people like John Campa has talked about before, and others have talked about before, it basically blindsided a lot of people in the industry, especially the directors and the actors and all of them that are part of that have participated in these movies, who either portraying characters in them, if they were an actor or an actress, or directing them, or writing the screenplay for them, stuff like that. A lot of these people are not happy with Warner Brothers and AT&T right now because basically they feel that they are taking away from the movie going experience. A lot of directors have spoke out about them. Christopher Nolan has spoke out about them, and he recently did Tenet, which was a success this year for Warner Brothers. The director of Dune, the new take on Dune, has spoke out about it, and he's not happy. Basically, according to John Campa, he basically ripped Warner Brothers and AT&T a new one for the decision to do this. So yeah, this is obviously not. This obviously is working. It's not working for Warner Brothers and AT&T. It's working against them because there's a lot of people in the movie industry that are from the Directors Guild to the Actors Association that are not happy with this decision that Warner Brothers and AT&T made because they feel that they are taking away from the movie going experience, when it comes to these kind of films. The director of Dune said that basically, and even others like John Campa has even backed this up by saying Dune is the kind of movie you need to see on the big screen and not on a smaller screen, if you will. The same with Godzilla vs. Kong and a few others. And they do have a point. These are the kind of movies you have to see on the big screen. I mean, imagine, hold on for a second. I'll show you for an example. Imagine, and I know not many people have love for these films, but imagine seeing a Star Wars film like Last Jedi on a small screen the day it's supposed to be in theaters. How would you feel about that? Would you, being a Star Wars fan, be happy that you've been reduced to watching this at home? Or would you want to have that big movie experience? That's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about, basically. You know, well, like I said, that's what they're talking about. That's what these directors of these movies like Dune and Tenet and people behind Godzilla vs. Kong. like Legendary Pictures. This is what they're trying to point out to Warner Brothers and everybody else, that these are the kind of movies you need to see on the big screen. You cannot experience them. It's like it's not the same experience. It's not the same experience that you know. It's basically not the same experience you would get, by watching it on the big screen. That's not the thing. That's a big difference. I mean, yeah, there's no doubt. Here's the thing: these people that are arguing this right now, that are threatening to boycott Warner Brothers and all that. Look, you can't tell me that they don't believe they don't agree with the benefits of watching one of these movies at home during the uncertainty of what's going on with this pandemic. I mean, yeah, we got the vaccine coming, if not already here, but you can't tell me that there isn't an uncertainty of the effectiveness of the vaccine, for certain people, or how strongly it's going to help people's bodies be immune to the virus. You can't tell me that they don't agree somewhat with the decision about is Warner Brothers not taking the right precautions, or going through the right channels, I should say, and informing them of what they were planning to do. Because if they would have done that, I'm sure these guys would have been okay with it, as long as they worked out some kind of deal, maybe similar to what Warner Brothers worked out with Guy Gadot and Patty Jenkins when it came to Wonder Woman 84. I'm sure they would have been okay with it if they would have gotten some kind of deal like that. But that didn't happen. I think obviously it was a last minute decision. And I said this before in a video, and it's no offense, but I think the CEO of Warner Brothers, Anne Marie, I think that's her name. I think maybe, and again, I don't know this, it's just mere speculation. I think she might be a bit of a germaphobe. Like, she's one of those that looks at the fact that she's the kind that would basically go out, get let's see what I can use for an example. Go out, get a bottle of German-X, and as soon as she shakes somebody's hand, bring out that bottle, squirt it in her hand, and rub her hand all over, and rub it all over her hands. She seems like that kind of a person to want to agree out of the blue with a decision like this, or the green light a decision like this, because this is the kind of decision that you need to go through the proper channels with. You need to say, hey, Christopher Nolan, or hey, people behind Dune, or people behind, or hey, Legendary Pictures, we're planning to do this because we're not sure about what's going to happen within the next year as far as the vaccine and the virus goes. So we plan to do this, but hey, we have this idea, but we also have a plan to, reimburse you for anything you may lose financially. Like, we'll give you the same deal we're giving Guy Gadot and Patty Jenkins for Wonder Woman. We'll do that. We just wanted to contact you first and let you know what we're doing. They didn't do that. They didn't go through those proper channels. They just decided to, let it come out of the blue. And, it's just one of those things that, I think Warner Brothers and AT&T need to reevaluate some of the executive decisions, and they shouldn't base it on possibly being a germaphobe if that's what maybe Anne Marie is. Not saying she is, just speculation, because if she's not a germaphobe, or she's not one of those kind of people that's, a worrywart, or just extremely cautious about what's going on with this virus and all that. Very like, should I do this? Should I do that? Again, no offense when I do that. I'm just saying, there are people that are worse than a lot of us that take this way too seriously. Like, oh, I need to bunker down. Again, no offense. I'm just saying, we don't know. I'm just using that as an example of, we don't know if that she's that kind of a person or not. But the point is, this is the kind of decision that should have been gone through the proper channels out before they made it, and by going through the proper channels, work out a similar kind of deal that they did with Patty and Guy, um, when it came to Wonder Woman 84. And I think if they would have done that, I think everything would be okay. Because again, you can't tell me that even though they're angry, that these directors, these companies that use Warner Brothers as an employer or the distributor, you can't tell me that they don't agree with this decision. They just wish they were told in advance, like they were given some kind of notice, like within a week or a month, that, hey, this might be a direction we go in with your movies, or with the movies you're allowing us to distribute. You know, I think they would have been cool with it. And but that didn't happen, and now it's resulted in this mess. But again, I think in the end, it's just them being upset that they weren't informed. I think honestly, most of them do agree that this is a safer solution for the time being until everything is in the clear. And then after everything is in the clear, hopefully maybe something else could be worked out, and maybe Warner Brothers will come out and say, hey, for the rest of those 17 movies, like let's say they get, you know, 9 of them out, simultaneously, HBOMAX in theaters. Let's say they come out and say, yeah, for the rest of those 8 movies, you're gonna have to go to the theaters now because everything's cool. So, who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? But it'll be extremely interesting. I'll tell you that. It'll be extremely interesting as to see what direction this all takes in the end. Because again, I don't think. I mean, again, I think deep down, neither one of these directors and these companies, these movie companies, studios, if you will, I don't think they're totally upset. I think they're understanding of why this is being done. I just think they're angry at the fact that they weren't informed in advance. They weren't given some advanced notice of, hey, this is potentially what we're going to do with your films. So I think that's all it is. But yeah, right now, because Warner Brothers, I should say, Warner Brothers and AT&T didn't go through the proper channels like they did for Wonder Woman 84, this decision to release all 17 movies in 2021 simultaneously, it is indeed blowing up in the face as we speak. So hopefully something can be worked out in the end, and maybe it will come out that, these directors and these movie studios, they're cool with what Warner Brothers and AT&T is going to do, but they're just angry at the fact that they're just upset at the fact that they weren't informed beforehand. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting ride. That it's going to be definitely an interesting ride that Warner Brothers is going to be going on to try to work this out, try to clean up the mess that they put themselves in. All right, so number 5 on the list here. Number 5, this is something that, as I mentioned at the beginning, Rich, Review Tech USA, talked about, and that is Walmart employees / associates caught red-handed on camera selling PS5s to fellow employees before customers. Now, let me explain this to you guys. As a former associate and employee of that company, this is nothing new. It's not. It's nothing new, guys. This is nothing new, and let me explain why. Because you see, Walmart employees and associates have been known to do this. They have been known to go out and do this kind of stuff. And it's not just Walmart either. It's Target, it's Best Buy, it's Kohl's, it's GameStop, it's any place that sells video game consoles of any kind. Employees and associates have been doing this for years, for decades. And the reason they do it is because they know deep down this might be the only chance they get. It might be the only chance they get, and they don't want to risk having to wait until it becomes fully available within the next few months. Now, I know that sounds like an excuse and everything because I used to work for Walmart, but it's a fact. It is a fact. This is something that's happened a lot. I'll give you an example. I think it was my Wii U. I bought that basically the first year I was employed by them. A girl named Megan, who used to work in electronics, put it aside for me, and I bought it. Along with the steering wheel and a game. I bought the system, and I took it home, hooked it up, and I played it. The point is, this is nothing new. Now, granted, this is when the Wii was about a year, maybe a few months old, so it was more widely available, and there was no issue. And during the 6.5 years I was there, I've seen this done multiple times. Associates would put stuff to the side for themselves so they can get it later. They put it to the side, on the counter, on the cashier counter with on the register counter with a cashiering. They put it behind the smoke counter, the main register 7. They put it behind there. They put it behind the desk, the register desk at Sporting Goods, electronics. They put it wherever they could. They even take it to the back and keep it there until they were ready to purchase it. So this is nothing new. This is nothing new. It's just that this time around, they decided to do it when a console is new, is basically within its first few weeks of existence or first full month of existence. And it's still a hot item, especially with the holidays coming around. It's still a hot item. So what happened? What happened with these Walmart associates? I'll tell you what happened. Somebody got their camera out and started filming. They started recording what was going on. And now it's making the rounds. It's making the rounds of the fact that this happened. Now, again, when I got my Wii U back in 2014, that was an exception because that was a few months into its existence. Everybody was able to get it, by the time I did. So that was no big deal. But this is something that's just been out a few weeks, if not a month. And it's still a hot selling item to the point that almost every week or every day, there's a report plastered on Facebook or in the news articles of places like Best Buy, Walmart, Target, Kohl's, having to, GameStop, having to restock on these systems, all because they're running out. All because they're running out. So, to me, this is nothing new, but it is something that, is not normally done. I mean, I get everybody wants the PS5. I get it. But guess what? You can wait. When the PS4 came out, I waited. I didn't go like, oh, I'm going to get it now. Do. No, I waited. I waited to get it when I did. And I'm happy I did because I got it. I waited to get my Xbox 360 when I did. And I'm happy I got it. It's all about patience. And that goes even for associates and employees. So I'll tell you what's going to happen now. This video is going to make rounds. It's going to get the attention of all the Walmart stores across the country, I should say. It's going to get the attention of Doug McMillon, the CEO, the chairman of Walmart. And he's going to probably make an edict that this can't happen anymore. And that when it comes to consoles like the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S and the PS5 Digital, he's going to probably make an edict that only management can sell those things. Only management. No more associates can touch them. No more associates, only management. Now you might say that. Now you might say, or you might ask, well, they can't make that permanent. They can't make managers do that permanently, can they? Well, of course not. No, they only make it for a certain time. When I was working at Walmart several months ago, somebody wanted to get an iPhone 12, or one of the newest iPhones, and I couldn't get it for them because basically I found out management has to get it for them, not an associate, management. And in the end, that's what happened. Management had to come over and get it for them. They had to. The point is, what I'm getting at is I truly believe that for a temporal time, an announcement is going to come out by Doug McMillon or some people in charge over at Walmart, the entire corporation in Bentonville, Arkansas, and they're going to make the announcement to only management for the next several months until there's a regular, until there's a regular in stock, assortment of PS5s. That for a time, only managers can sell those devices. And you know what's going to happen too? It's not just going to be affecting Walmart, but now this video is going to be making the viral run. It's going to affect Target. It's going to affect Best Buy, GameStop, Kohl's, Amazon. I guarantee you, it's all going to be affected because of what they see here. Because of what they see in that video. And if you want to see the video, go to Review Tech USA and check it out. It's on there. And yeah, it's quite a sight to believe, or quite a sight to see. Because, again, I understand wanting to get one of the latest and hottest consoles. But it's called patience. It's called patience, guys. You don't have to rush into it. It's called patience. And for me, that's what I had. I had patience. So, yeah, that it doesn't make my former employer look good. I'll tell you that. Heck, it doesn't make any retail company that sells electronics like game consoles and everything look good if this happens. So, hopefully, something will come out of it. And I've got a feeling what will come out of it is Doug McMillon stating that this cannot happen anymore. And that just like certain items like the iPhone 11 and all that, only management for a certain amount of time, maybe a couple of months, until there's a regular stock of the items in, can sell the device. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion from what I see happening. Okay, so moving on to our sixth topic. Our sixth topic is interesting because I just talked about this yesterday in a video. In fact, it's the last video I posted on here before this update, or before this topic's on my mind, I should say. And that is Washington's out. The Washington Huskies of Washington University in Seattle, they are out, and the Oregon Ducks are in as far as the Pac-12 championship game is concerned. So you're probably wondering what this is about. Well, basically, if you follow college football, the Washington Huskies had to cancel the regular season finale last week against Oregon because of the fact that they didn't have enough eligible players to comprise a team due to the fact that some of them were out with the virus, or these positive cases of the virus. And well, the same has been applied this week as well. They still don't have enough players because of the virus. And because of that, Oregon, who is set to play Colorado in Los Angeles on the same day or around the same time frame, will be playing USC instead. So instead of Washington and USC, it's going to be Oregon and USC. Now, you might say, well, doesn't that put USC at a disadvantage? They were planning for Washington. Now they got to plan for Oregon. In a way, yeah, but you also got to look at the fact that Oregon was planning for Colorado, and instead they're getting USC. So it's kind of balances out, if you know what I mean. But yeah, this just shows you the effect that this virus has had in 2020. The fact that the Pac 12, who started the season at the beginning of November, is now put into a situation to where one of the teams is not eligible to play because they don't have enough players due to the virus. And now, instead of them being the rightful North Division champions, they have to basically forfeit that opportunity to the runner up, which is Oregon. So, yeah, it's an interesting scenario, and we'll see what happens. I mean, for all we know, in the next few days, they could announce that USC is out and Colorado's in because USC may not have enough players. Who knows? But yeah, it's an interesting scenario, and we'll see what develops over the next few days. But as far as I know, this is the first time ever, as far as I know, ever, any college football conference championship of any kind has had to have a team alternate because of, sickness or not enough players. I can't remember the last time this has ever happened. So it's the first time as far as I know. And then on top of that, usually this game is played either in Glendale, Arizona, at in Glen. It's usually played in three different locations, either in Glendale, Arizona, at the home of the Arizona Cardinals, played at Levi Stadium, home of the Niners, or for this year and going forward, SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. So it would have had that, and they still could do that, but they're not. So, because of safety reasons, they're going to keep it, at Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum because that's an open air stadium. But yeah, it's bad break for Washington, and maybe they might get in a large bid into a New Year's Day 6 Bowl to compensate. We'll see. But yeah, bad break for them. Really bad break. But what's interesting though is, the Pac-12 game isn't the only one that has to be in an alternate site either. Like I said, we know that the Pac-12 was going to either be at Levi or SoFi or even Glendale. But we also know the Mountain West would have had their championship at SoFi. Not SoFi, but the Mountain West was going to have their championship game at the new home of the Las Vegas Raiders, Alignment Stadium. I think that's what it's called, Alignment Stadium. They would have had it there, but because of the virus and the pandemic, they had to go to Samboy Stadium instead because of the open air. But anyway, though, it's one of those. But yeah, it's one of those unfortunate breaks for Washington, and I hope they get some kind of compensation out of this. Maybe they might be dubbed co-champions of the North Division with Oregon, and that'll be a compensation. And perhaps because there's no Holiday Bowl this year, Washington will get a New Year's Day Bowl instead. We'll see. But yeah, it's a bad break, and hopefully they can make up for this in the next college football season next year. Speaking of college football, what's funny is you got the SWAC and the MEAC and the Big Sky conferences going to be playing their games in the spring, which a lot of people felt probably would have been the best idea to do this year for some of these conferences, if not the entire college football season. The only thing is everybody's so used to the tradition of having certain bowl games on this day that wouldn't have worked out. But I look at it like this, I should say, that you could have easily took the New Year's Day games, and if you wanted to do the entire college football season in the spring, and in the spring and into the early summer, even if you gave them a short break and all that, I think it still would have worked because you could have easily took the New Year's Day 6 Bowl games in the college football playoff games and placed them on the 4th of July. And for that year, make them the 4th of July 6-day games or something like that. And then on the college football national championship, maybe a week later. Again, just an idea. But yeah, those are the only conferences outside of the FBS that are actually going to be playing football in the spring because they don't want to take a chance or anything. But yeah, like I said, the bad break for the Huskies, and hopefully they can bounce back from this and get some kind of compensation out of it. Like I said, New Year's Day Bowl, maybe a berth in the Cotton Bowl. I think that would be suffice. I really do. All right, so the seventh topic we're going to talk about, and I'll be back in a moment. I just got to go close my blinds here. All right, so the second topic we're going to talk about is video uploading sites removing certain videos from their sites. Now, the reason I bring this up is there are certain websites, or certain video uploading sites, like right here on the YT, the PH, I'm not going to say any more than that, Viemo, even Bitcute, and Dailymotion have been removing certain videos that basically they don't agree with, or not officially uploaded by the official source. And I know some people might have a lot to say about this because of the fact that they feel freedom of speech is being abused, basically, or being well, not abused. Well, yeah, freedom of speech is being abused. It's being it's being held back. It's being silenced and all that. And yeah, they have a right to their opinion when thinking that and believing that. But again, but again, you have to realize that some of these video uploading sites are part of big tech companies. They're just a part of it. They're just a cog in the wheel. And the overall structure is owned by a bigger corporation. And if that bigger corporation feels that certain videos on that uploading site doesn't meet with their ideals or what their beliefs are, then they're going to have those video uploading sites remove that content, whether it's political, erotic, if you know what I'm talking about, or otherwise, animations, what have you. If they feel it's not suited to their standards or it's not uploaded by the official source, they're going to have it removed. And again, I understand people feel that that's possibly a violation of freedom of speech and abusement of freedom of speech. But again, you got to remember, these corporations or these video sites are owned by bigger corporations. PH, if you know what I'm talking about, the number one adult site, video uploading site, basically, they're basically owned by a bigger corporation. They may not flat out say who it is, but if that corporation is saying, hey, take these videos down because they weren't officially uploaded by the official source, then they're going to do that. And I'm pretty sure the official sources of those videos are like, wait a minute, why are our videos on your site without permission? We didn't give you guys permission to do that. So, that might be a reason. That might be a major reason right there. We don't know. But again, it's those kind of decisions that are being made, that I'm sure makes a lot of people unhappy. But also you have to understand, again, it's all about, how the big corporations, nations in charge, where these video sites are just a cog in the wheel, feel about certain things. And that's why certain, video sites, like PH are removing stuff that's not uploaded by the official source. And why video sites like Viemo, Dailymotion, Bitcute, the YT, and many others are removing some other videos like political ones or what have you, that, the overall corporate bosses feel don't, meet their standards and beliefs. And again, that may not seem like a great move on their part, but I truly believe, my honest opinion is, I think it's only temporary. I think when 2021 comes around, a lot of these decisions that are being made may be, lifted, may be retracted on, and might be altered to the point that perhaps those videos can come back on or be allowed back on, but with an exception, like maybe with a catch or something. Like if it's a political video, you have to say maybe at the beginning or in description or in your title, it's your opinion, or something like that. Or when it comes to, let's say, something adult and erotic with the PH site, it has to have something in the description saying, go to this site if you want more content, blah, blah, blah. Go to the official site, da, 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 if you want more content, or something like that. So again, I understand. Again, I can get and understand why people would feel upset and angry about this. But, it's something we just have to deal with. And I have a feeling it's only a temporary deal. I really do. I just feel it's a temporary deal. And, that's about it. So, again, there's not really much we could do about it. I mean, I know some people will fight about it. I know there's some major channels on these sites that will fight about it. But right now, I think it's just a temporary solution that these video uploading sites are doing at the behest of the bigger bosses, the higher ups, if you will, and to a certain point. And I think that certain point will be somewhere maybe in early to mid 2021, in my opinion. But that's all I'm going to say on that for the 7th topic. And now we're going to move on to the 8th and final topic. And it involves my video channel here. And that is the new upcoming video uploading schedule for my channel starting today that affects the next 2 weeks. Now, I basically mentioned this, I mentioned this in a channel update yesterday, but what my plan is to, I already got 2 videos set to go, but my plan is to basically upload 2 videos a day, hopefully, or at least try to upload 2 videos a day, and schedule them for the next 2 weeks. And the reason I want to do that is because in the next 2 weeks, starting this Friday, my mom will be off of work because of Christmas break. So over the next 2 weeks, I have to, I want to basically, I should say, provide content, and I have to find a way to work around, her being home from school and everything, and, doing her thing and all that. So I have to find a way around that. And sometimes I am successful. I mean, the previous 2 weeks she was off due to the fact that, as I mentioned earlier, her school was closed because the family advocate had been tested positive for the virus. I was surprised that I could find a way to, do videos and all that. But the problem was when I would do some of the videos, I would basically, constantly check up on whether or not I had the opportunities to do so without possible interruption. And sometimes I would also have to be very quiet. I mean, you've heard some of the way I spoke in some of those videos over the past few weeks, and how I was kind of like, I was kind of sounding like, oh, well, this and all that. The reason I sounded like that, was I was trying to be quiet because I didn't, want, any questions being asked or anything like that. Because, here's the thing: my mom and my family, they know I do YouTube. They know I'm making money off it now. But the thing is, they're always curious about what I'm saying or what I'm talking about. And my mom's the kind of person, and I'm sure you guys would relate with this, that particularly doesn't like to be, seen or heard on camera or even mentioned on camera. So, yeah, you gotta, I've got to be careful on how I do things. I got to be careful on how I do videos. So my plan basically to work around that over this next week or so is to upload 2 videos, schedule them for the next 2 weeks so that they will be seen even if I'm not doing anything, at least content will be provided. And the reason I'm also doing this is because I've seen a lot of people, a lot of channels upload videos but not schedule them to premiere until the next several weeks or even the next month, which is basically a long time. But obviously they're doing it because maybe they have, if not do indeed have, other things to take care of. So that's basically the plan that I have here. That basically the schedule is going to be a little bit different, and that over the next 2 weeks, you will be seeing a video pop up, but it'll be a video that I've been doing this week that will premiere next week and the following week to kind of coincide with that week. Like next week's Christmas, so I'm gonna probably do some Christmas related stuff. And the following week we're going into 2021, so maybe I'll do videos looking back at 2020 and how forgettable people want to make this year, you know. But anyway, that's pretty much what the schedule is. And again, I'm doing this because I've seen others do schedules like this as well. I think I've seen Linkara do something like this. I've seen Cinemassacre, Channel Awesome, do videos like this. I've seen a lot of videos, a lot of channels that I'm subscribed to, do something similar because, like I said, obviously they have other things they have to do, either personally or content-wise that, will take away their time from doing certain videos, on those days. So they're going to provide content, to be up. So they're going to provide content earlier to be aired that time during that time frame. So that's basically what the schedule is going to be over the next 2 weeks, due to the fact that my mom's going to be off on Christmas break, and I need to find a way to get video content out there for you. So yeah, that's what I plan to do, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And also, from what I've been able to see and tell, it does help from a monetization standpoint, help that, revenue come in a lot more than previously shorter videos that premiere and all that. So anyway, though, guys, that's pretty much going to do for the 8th and final topic. And that's all going to do for today's topics on my mind for today, the 14th of December, 2020. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you for tuning in to the live chat. Really appreciate it. And that's all I'm going to say for today, guys. So thank you all for watching. Again, let me know what you guys think down in the description box, or the comment section, I should say. Thank you to those that joined me in the live chat. And hopefully I'll be able to get another live stream out before this week is out. Again, like I said, in the 8th and final topic, there will be videos uploaded, but will not be scheduled for release until the next 2 weeks, due to the fact that, again, Christmas break, and you have to work around those kind of schedules with family involved, if you know what I mean. But anyway, though, guys, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Let me know what you all think down below. Comment if you like. Go to the About section here on my channel. Go to the About section on my homepage for my channel. Click on it. Scroll down and check out my Viemo, my Patreon, my DeviantArt page. Check them all out and support me as best you can with more subscriptions, all that with this channel. Check out Brian's Discussions channel, which is my secondary channel, which right now I don't have much content on it, but eventually I will provide more in the future, and help me to get it to 1,000 subscribers on that, so I can monetize that one as well. But thank you all for joining me. Comment if you like, and stay safe, guys. God bless. Take care. I'm out.